got to say, and the main purpose is to get out and vote. So I got her, we're gonna do this right while we in the shade real quick. Okay, tell everybody your name.
Good afternoon, Statesville. This is Michele Cooke. I'm running for City Council of Ward 5.
And tell them how long you've been in the area.
I have been in this area for over 5 years. However, people are just learning about me because I've been a flight attendant for most of those 5 years, and I've been absent in the air for 4 or 5 days out of the week. And so I discontinued the flying, and that's when I started paying attention to our people in our city and realizing what was going on. And I realized at that point that that's where I wanted to be and be a part of assisting with the people in our community and the well-being of our citizens.
Absolutely. So as we're gonna start walking now.
Sure.
We headed down. I don't know the name of this road. You know, I'm a little old.
This is Pearl Street. This is one street over from where I actually live. I live over in Alexander, and we are at NB Mill School is where we're at. And I actually had a tour of the school. Had a tour of the school yesterday.
And what what improvements do you think that needs in this area in particular, the ward that you're running for, and what improvements that you think NB Mills need?
Recently, the Ardell School Board, Statesville School Board, reviewed their budget, and as most people saw in Statesville Free News, they did get an increase in their budget. However, that increase is based on the government giving the state employees their increases. However, when those employees get their increases, the school board is obligated to pay those salaries. However, that ends up, they're going to have to make budget cuts, and they're looking at least $300,000 in budget cuts. They're going to cut in instructors, possibly 2 maintenance people, and possibly the 2 gate guards, and that affects this school right here. This school has over 20,000 students, and 93% of these students are on the free lunch program, and 96 or 98% of this school is for students for you know, they're in poverty, and we can't afford these cuts here at this school. We can't. So even though it looks good on paper that they got an increase in their budget, however, the increase is for those salaries, and they're going to have to make cuts elsewhere, including $150,000 in supplies. And I feel that they are so tight with their budget, they have no cushion. And this is where our city council needs to step up and step in and help this community. And that's what I see starting with this school right here.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. As far as the school and the kids, those are the ones that suffer. The kids are our future.
Right. Our parents downtown is beautiful. Our parents downtown, the businesses, and what they've done with streetscape is beautiful. However, our children are the heart of Statesville. Once again, our streets and our buildings are going to deteriorate, but the generations will continue on. Our children will continue to grow, and families will continue to grow. So my feeling is, if we've got millions of dollars to spend on the Vance Hotel and Streetscape and Shelton Avenue, those are great ideas, but I really feel that a priority is taking care of our own people first and the well-being of our children, because that's where it starts. Our children, they can't afford preschool programs. We need preschool programs, we need after-school programs, we need adult programs to help these people. It's not only to help them financially, but to help them morally, so that they are not on the streets doing drugs. We need drug programs. We can't just keep locking people up all the time, you know. And we need to help fund these kids. The children that are coming into the school are below grade level, and they're leaving below grade level. So we need to do something about that. And that's what I would like to see, have my part, and see what we can do. There's some grants and there's some fundings, but there's also things that our city and our community and our city council can be doing here.
All right. All right. You heard it from Michele herself. You heard it from her. This ain't made up. This ain't scripted. She's being very transparent, as much as she can. We got some people doing their job, the lawnmowers and everything. But we're walking down Pearl Street. Oh yeah, we gotta walk slow. The camera gotta walk slow.
The cameraman.
But she is, in her own words, this is her ward, and she sees firsthand the effects that the lack of funding and the lack of communication and slow down, the lack of communication and the lack of togetherness, disconnected. That's what I was looking for. You know, us old people, we forget words sometimes, so we try to use other words.
You know, a coach can say this is good, but this is better, and we need to join hands. And there are communities like this, and communities, and I don't want to say South Side. I would prefer to say all streets, not north, not south, not east, not west, not rich, not poor, not black, not white, but all people. We all need to join hands. You know, all the areas of our city need to join hands. All our cities, you know, these areas need to have they need the backs of our city. You know, they need to know that somebody has their back. You know, and not to preach to the choir, but our recent sermon this past Sunday was about having your back and not being a me mentality, but a we mentality. And that's what this city needs. It needs to be all about we. This is where we have banners all over the city that says this is the place where we all come together. You know, and it should be. Let's stand up for that. Let's not leave anybody behind. We can progress forward, and sure, we can have downtown look nice, but there's communities like this, they can't afford to shop downtown. They can't even afford to shop at Walmart. You know, their kids are on free lunch programs. They can't afford preschool. So let's get our community, let's get our children up to date. Let's put our money where our mouth is and take care of our people first. Pearl Street. And we'd like to thank you for tuning in and welcome any questions anybody has out there while you're viewing us. I'd be more than happy to answer them. And I'm also available if somebody wants me to come to their house and speak to them. If they have an issue, if they can't get out of their home, if they'd like to speak to me, I'd be more than happy to come see them.
All right, you heard it from
Somebody
Michele.
here.
Miss Thea, how you doing?
You are,
How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Miss Thea?
You're Tyrita's.
Yeah, she's on the telephone right now. She's on the telephone. I'm gonna pan the camera around to her because we live.
Oh my God.
And we here with just say hey to the camera. Tell them who you are, what you do for the
Hey
community.
to the camera, this is Thea. I'm the public housing manager at Summit Village for Statesville Housing Authority.
All right. So we here in the community, and we are trying to get people motivated and involved in the community and some changes. So we got Miss Michele Ward right here, and maybe she got some questions that she want to ask you about what changes you think that need to be made, because you work here in this community, you work in the housing and everything. And so what are some of the concerns are you hearing?
Most of the people, I think they have an issue as far as getting jobs. A lot of them it's because of lack of the proper education. A lot of them, may have quit school, got GEDs, a few have even certificates or nothing at all. So now, of course, in the workplace, you've got to have something and able to do that. And we're about the self-sufficiency. So without having that education and the jobs, it's hard for them to be able to leave public housing and stop it from being that generational thing that it is now. That's our biggest concern, is trying to get people to be self-sufficient and not depend on us and different agencies to sustain themselves and their families. I think that's the hardest thing.
All right.
It would be nice if we had a learning center for adults. We need those kind of programs. We need after school programs for our kids, but we also need programs for our adults to further education.
Yes.
Everybody.
Right, because I see the effects that, you know, when parents are dysfunctional, a lot of times it spills out into the children.
Yes.
And most of the time, kids don't have both parents in the home. Mama's at work and grandmama is taking care of everybody. So grandmama ain't able to get up and go like she used to. You know what I'm saying? So when they see grandma just get a check every month, and so and they ain't got no food and the light bills is due, and they see that person out there that's on the street corner that's making a lot of money, you know, and so that's a come in moment for them. That's a way of the enemy. I call the snatch that young person.
And the residents in the city need to know that our city council and our other people are here to help them, that have their back, that care about them. I think there's a lot of people in these communities that think that they're long forgotten about, that the city is focusing on downtown, which is beautiful, but it doesn't help these other areas, and they feel like they've been left out of the picture. You know, Statesville is all about Statesville. It's the streets of Statesville. It's all the businesses, it's all the people, it's all the children, it's everybody hand in hand. And you can't just ignore these areas that are happening in Statesville. You're going to go stagnant or they're going to die. And we can't have that. We can't have one child left out. We can't have one adult left out, because that trickles down with the adults. It trickles down to our kids. It was all over the news. We just had two young adults picked up, you know, in their vehicle because of drugs, and a little 2-year-old in the back seat. And we can't have that. It was all over the news today. And you know, we just can't lock people up and then wonder what we're going to do with these kids. Let's get to the root of the problem, and let's have some support groups. Let's have some drug addiction programs. Let's have after school programs, and let's have things for our teenagers, and let's have a learning center. Let's put some computers out there somewhere so that our adults can go there and not have to pay a membership somewhere. You know, everywhere you go, you got to pay a membership. You got to pay a membership at the library. You got to pay a membership at the YMCA. You got to pay a membership at the Park and Rec. These families can't afford that. You know, so there needs to be some backbone from our city to go hand in hand on these issues and these matters, and to help our residents.
I know our agency does have some of those types of things, but I think the person that can really tell you more about what we, even as a housing authority, provide would be our executive director, Ms. Darva Scaff. Because we do have a partnership with Mitchell Community College and different things of that nature, CNA classes, GED classes. But again, Ms. Scaff would be the one that you would really need to talk to, who can give you a more in-depth view of the things that we do provide and what our perspective is for our community and what our goals are for our community.
And the awareness.
And I know she would be more than happy to let people know where Statesville Housing stands on those types of issues.
Absolutely.
And that's another part of our transparency. There needs to be awareness programs for just the programs that do exist, because people don't realize that there may be programs out there to help our citizens. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all,
Thank you so much.
we are back, and I'm back with Michele, and she had some more information that she wanted to share. So I'm going to let her take over the conversation. Go on, Michele. How you doing? Again, one more time.
We're back here. We were just leaving the school, and I wanted to mention that this school actually only has one apparatus here behind me. And keep in mind, folks, that this is an elementary school, and it just seems to me like I understand that swings and stuff have codes, and there's all kinds of different dimensions and rules and regulations when you put up swing sets and stuff. But this is the only apparatus that they have, and I know for myself I would be bored after a few minutes if you only had just one thing to play on. And I think that's also places where our children suffer. So not only do they suffer with not enough instructors, not enough psychologists, not enough programs, but also being outside and being able to do things, and they only have the one apparatus. And it just seems to me that our community should come together. That's another place where our city has to come in here. If we can't have if there's not enough money in the budget, then somebody has to step up to the plate. Sure, there's grants and stuff that we can look into, but it just, to me, I'm from a small town. I went to a regional high school with 4 towns, and if your school needed something, your people in your city stepped up to the plate to assist. And I think that this is another reason why our city needs to come together and do whatever it takes for our kids and our youth.
Absolutely, and I want to reiterate that because I see Power Cross doing a lot of things for the children in the community. The Power Cross, you done heard of?
Sure.
Yeah. You want to speak on that? Do you have any information on that?
I know that they do a lot of great things with our kids, and there's actually the next street over is the Abernathy. Correct me if I'm wrong, the pronunciation of that ballpark. But there's no playground right here for these kids in these areas, and this is all they have right here at this elementary school right here. And again, most of the kids that attend here are low housing. It's unfortunate. They don't have the funds. They don't have the money to take their kids to preschool before they come here. They don't have the money to take their kids and join the YMCA and the rec centers and such. Again, this is another part of our city, a heart of our city right here. We're only just a few blocks from downtown, right behind Mitchell College, and it should not be left out.
Absolutely, absolutely. You heard it from Michele Cooke herself in her own words, and what she plans to do and what she has in place. And I want to thank you again for your time to speaking with My 5 Entertainment, Street Money, Young Executives, My Name Whole Weight Production, all of them. It ain't just me out here or Mr. Sean Eccles. It's a collective people who I work with and put this all together. So I want to thank them as well as you and as well as the other candidates. And thank you for your input and your dedication to serve.
Absolutely.
To serve.
That's my mission.
To serve.
That's my mission. My mission is to be here for the well-being of our citizens, and I'm ready to dig in and do whatever it takes to help our people and ask you to vote and be there right with me.
All right, then my hip went up on that one. On that note, I'm going to sign off again. I'm JunBug Gilbert with Real News. Until next time, take care of yourself and each other.
Thank you. Thank you.